All right. And would you also, Preeti, like to talk about implementation agencies? Because Mr. Singh mentioned partner 1, partner 2, partner 3, etc. So several partners whom they work with. So who are those partners? Because we have representation in this webinar from some NGOs and implementation agencies as well. So who are those people? What are, what kind of requirements are there for them to accept CSR, etc., etc.?
Okay, so coming back to the law, that means, so there are companies which do CSR and implement it on their own, right? If they're like I mentioned about companies who are passionate about doing their CSR on their own, but companies like MARELLI, which has got huge spend on CSR, of course, they need partners to work for and contribute in the CSR. Law defines implementation agencies. The implementation agency may be a Section 8 company. It may be a registered public trust or a registered society registered under 10, 12A and 80G of the Income Tax Act, which may be either established by the company singly or maybe in joining hands with other companies. Then another category of an implementation agency is a Section 8 company or a registered trust or a registered society established by central government or the state government. There may be an entity, defined as implementing agencies established under an act of parliament or a state legislature. The most important category for organizations is a Section 8 company, a registered public trust or a registered society, which have the 12A and 80G registrations and have an established track record of at least 3 years in undertaking similar activities of CSR. So these are certain, these are the defined implementing agencies under the law. Now, for example, there were questions raised as to, before the implementing agency came into force, the companies were doing the CSR on their own. And then the questions popped up that what happens to the projects that the companies directly undertook rather than going through the implementing agencies. If those are ongoing projects, the company can still continue with those projects on their own. The future projects may be run through the implementing agencies. The implementing agencies are also required to kind of register themselves with the MCA by filing form CSR1. Yeah, form CSR1, and then they can take up the CSR projects of the company.
Right. So what I think two things to remember or note here is that one, if you're choosing a partner, the partner or the implementation agency needs to have at least a track record of 3 years in implementing such
that's projects. An outside. If that's an
outside one, if you're not doing it on your own and if you're doing it through an NGO, ensure, because if these conditions are not met, you may be spending on CSR, but it may not be eligible, or counted towards CSR. So one, I think, look at the agency which has a track record of 3 years in doing similar activities, which falls under the definitions of a registered trust, either as a Section 8 company or a trust or a society, and having a 12A and a 80G registration. And most importantly, they have a CSR1 filed, and therefore a CSR certificate, whatever comes as an output of CSR1, they are able to share that number with you, that this is their CSR number. So these are the, I think, 3 important things before selecting an implementation agency. And before I move to Chandan,
I have to add 2 points here.
Yeah.
With the latest amendment which came in September 2022. So earlier it was only trust and societies, etc., registered under Section 12A and 80G,
right,
which were eligible. Now with this latest amendment, the registered public trust and registered societies under Section 1023C and sub-clauses 4, 5, 6, and 7A of the Act, which are majorly the educational institutions, those have already also been covered. So these has been widened. One is that, and second is, there is always a pertinent question with respect to the track record of the entities. So we always talk about 3 years track record. However, in case a company establishes its own Section 8 company or a trust or society, then this requirement track record is not applicable. Of course, it cannot be. For example, on my company, if CSR becomes applicable now and now I establish another entity, it cannot have a track record. But yes, this registration under 12A and 80G would be required, and the filing of CSR would be required.
Understand. No, thanks for that addition.
Welcome to Complinity Technologies. Complinity is India's leading governance, risk and compliance software helping companies to manage their compliance, contracts, litigation, legal updates, inter-financial controls and more. Complinity is a one-stop shop for all GRC needs. With our proprietary 12 GRC modules and real-time legal updates on 2,000+ laws and 24,000+ compliances. All in an integrated platform that is easy to use with automated alerts and risk management capabilities. Is why compliance managers, general counsels and chief financial officers choose Complinity every time. Join the most innovative and prestigious brands that use Complinity. Automating your compliance management, request a demo at complinity.com.